It's another sign that summer is racing by. The August issue of Down East Magazine is out. It's the Eco issue, Maine's Greener Tomorrow. With us here on 207 is Sarah Stebbins, the deputy editor, who's pinch hitting for Will Grunwald, who's off on vacation. Thanks for coming in, Sarah. It's good to have you here.
Sure, thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about a little of what is in this issue, and we'll begin with a lengthy piece on land trusts. There are certainly a lot of people in Maine who know about land trusts and a lot who don't. But it's really interesting to shed some light on just what an important role land trusts are playing in the conservation of open spaces in Maine.
Right. So obviously Maine is beloved for its natural spaces, and what was interesting to learn about and discover in this piece was how many of those natural spaces are actually conserved and owned by land trusts. In Maine, 15% of our land mass is actually owned and conserved by land trusts, and we have more per capita than any other state in the country.
Yeah, I hadn't realized that Maine actually ranks fairly low in terms of public ownership of land, that we're behind the, several or if not all of the other New England states. But the land trusts have really played a crucial role in preserving land for generations to come.
Yes, and it was interesting to sort of trace back that model and how that came to be. We went all the way back to the late 1800s and delved into how we came up with this patchwork of conserved lands and what the benefits and drawbacks of it are.
Another piece takes a look at changes that we're seeing along the working waterfront, in particular in Maine, although not just the working waterfront, it's also pleasure boats as well, where gas and diesel are finally starting to give way slowly, but they're giving way to electric boats, which are becoming more of a thing in Maine.
Yes, and obviously the national conversation has been around electric vehicles in large part, which makes sense from an economic and environmental perspective. But in Maine, we actually have more than 100,000 registered boats on the water, and so we wanted to look at what is being done to drive electrification on the waterfront. It's an
interesting piece, and we're all going to be seeing this change as time goes by. Let's talk about one other piece in this issue. It's an excerpt from a new biography of Rachel Carson, the great environmental writer and champion who spent a lot of time in Maine. This is an excerpt, as I said, from a book called Rachel Carson and the Power of Queer Love, and it emphasizes a side of Rachel Carson that has not been given a lot of attention in previous studies of her life.
Right. Most people know Rachel Carson as the author of Silent Spring, a landmark book about the harmful effects of pesticides on the environment. But what the author of this book, she's a Boston University professor named Lita Maxwell, does is explore Rachel's relationship with her neighbor and friend, Dorothy Freeman, on Southport Island, and actually makes the case that their relationship, which she describes as a romantic relationship, sort of laid the groundwork for Carson to actually write Silent Spring.
Makes the argument, and it's an interesting one, that they found a safe space for their relationship only in nature, and that this helped Rachel Carson become such a fierce advocate for protecting and preserving nature.
That's right. They had many shared experiences on a patch of woods between their houses on Southport Island, and Maxwell, the author, makes the case that deepened Carson's relationship to nature and sort of drove the trajectory of her work going forward.
Those stories and more, all in the August Eco issue of Down East. Sarah, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Stay with us. We're going to be back with more of 207 right after this.